Okay, guys, I've been asked to show my entire workflow, okay, and how I do it from start to finish. Like I said, I shoot camera raw, so of course everything's gonna open up in camera raw, which is where we're at now. All right, this was shot. This is Ariel, one of my constant models that you probably see all the time. She was shot at f5, 1/125th of a second, ISO 100, 7200 at 85 millimeters. 85 is roughly about where I go all the time. Sometimes 100 if it's a headshot. Okay, so let's get down to it. All right, so the first thing I do in RAW is really just coloring. Okay, I do a lot of stuff where I look for specific items. So I like to bring the skins up. Um, I make sure I'm on daylight balance because that's what I use. Um, Sharpening, I usually go to about 60 on every image. Luminance is about 12 to 15, like that. All right. I like to come in here in the luminance, and I'll take the oranges because this is what plays with the skin. Okay, I can make her tan or I can make her non-tan. I like to increase it roughly about 10 because that's about where I like skin. It's somewhere right around 10 or 9. The reds do play a part too, so you can see how it's moving. Okay, I just like to kind of judge it by the way I like it, and right there looks about right. What I'm going to do now, okay, and I dehaze by about 5 or 10, okay, and I do a small vignette of about 15. Okay, that just draws the eyes just enough. You don't really see it, it's just there. Um, Go ahead and open this image. Before you open your image, this little spot right here, if you hit that, you can see that I set mine at 8 bits per channel. I actually changed that to 16 because I like to edit on 16-bit channels. 300 pixels, well, I'm not resizing, so it's going to stay normal. And I'm going to hit OK and go ahead and open the image. Alright, oh, that's one of the ones I was working on earlier. Let's see. There she is. Alright. So the first thing I do is I come over here to this little spot healing brush tool. Okay? Using content aware. And I don't sample all layers. So leave that unchecked. Content aware, because what I want is the texture that surrounds the location that I'm looking at. Okay? So the first thing I do is I go into the face and I take away the pimples. I get those out, and she's a great model because she doesn't have much. I take out some of the really big pores because women don't like to have big pores. See, like some of these dark spots, really dark areas, I'll pull some of those out just because it makes them look cleaner. Uh, I do this for everyone. Like this little hair right here has got me bothered, so I'm just gonna pull it out. Why? Because I can. Uh, all right. There's a little hair there. It's kind of bothering me. All right. This hair here, I don't like it, so I'm just gonna get rid of that too. Some people say do the frequency separation. I don't see a reason. You know, there's really no reason. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually just taking that line that I just did and breaking it up. You know, getting some of that texture back. That's why I click around it. Alright. And there's a pimple. This is the most tedious part of the entire workflow. For me, anyway. And you can hear my mouse is probably clicking away. Because that's what I'm doing is getting rid of the dark. I'm not getting rid of everything, just the really deep ones. Ones that stick out to me. And if you notice, I do strokes up. Okay, when I when you do this, most light that hits a face is on a curvature, and if you go up and down, you're staying on that same curve. which causes most of uh, pretty much everything to look correct. Okay, and you're staying with that same light on that curve. Um, and I don't have to go too much. I just do a little bit. All right. Then I go down to the chest area. Like here's a little pimple here. Here's one here. Everybody has them. All right. See, she has a scar here, and I know for a fact, just because I've worked with her so long, that she likes it removed. So I just remove it. All I did was use my bracket keys, and I got rid of it. There's that. There's another pimple. You know, everybody has these. So, you know, chicken skin if it's cold. Like when we shot this, it was a little cold, right? And then I go down. There's one here. One there. Okay. Then we hit this. Alright. And normally I'm playing rock and roll right now, so I'll just be jamming. But right now I am not because I'm talking to you. We come down, you know, I get pretty finite with how I like things, and if I see little bits and pieces that I don't like, I usually get rid of them. I don't get rid of these big black things. They're moles, I think, um, because that's who that person is. Uh, that's an identifying mark, which I don't like to touch unless they ask me to. And in her case, I know Ariel likes to keep her tats and all of her stuff looks great. Alright, so now I've done the whole body except for this right arm. Alright, so looks good. Okay, just got some red here, and I'm just gonna get rid of it in a minute. Alright, so now the first part is done. Okay, I went through, made sure I got every pimple that is gone. So now the next thing I do is I go into Imaginomics Portraiture. Okay, portraiture is one of my favorites. Um, yes, it does smoothen sometimes a little too much. When you go to pick your first color, you always go from your brightest to the darkest and then somewhere in between. So I usually start about here. That's my main source center. And then it goes to a positive, which adds color tones. And I usually just grab the tones somewhere in her neck and stuff like that. So now you can see the box got really large, but it's in that total range. So now what happens is I'm going to zoom in. Okay, tink. You can see there's a before and there's the after. Still see the pores. Pores are still there. Everything's there. It still has that nice look. Okay, and then I'll just hit my little OK button. This comes back. Now, one thing I do because I like a little more texture, I actually take that copy and I'll bring it down to about 70%. Okay, and bringing it to 70, I pull some more of the pores from the skin so it actually looks better. And I'll go ahead and flatten that. Okay, so now I'm looking, I have some tan area and then I got this reddish tint that's in there. So in the previous video you guys had watched, I love to use my hue saturation, switch it to reds, and I'll come down here and get my little dropper tool, and this is the red area that I don't like, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that in a little bit. Okay, as you can see, it's only pulling this stuff here, which I don't want, so I'm going to go ahead and pull, oops, I took the saturation down, didn't I? Let's see. Here, there we go. Alright, and so I'm trying to get just the leg area on her body because everything else is pretty good. Let's pull this over. Okay, go this way. There we go. Now we're getting there. Alright, so now I got to just the red areas of what I want to pull out. Okay, and then all I do is I go back into my hue sat and pull it up until I get to where I like it, which is about right there. A little bit more. So I'm going to go about there. So +7. Alright, +6, +7. Awesome. Alright, and then I'll just go ahead and flatten that image. Okay. And now I want to do her eyes. Okay, because way to a person's soul is through their eyes. She's already got really good looking eyes, so it's never a problem. But I always add a little kicker. And I go in here. I actually have a setup that I do all the time, so I made an action. Actions are something that you do in all your images. So the eyes, the teeth, and I do a frequency separation if I need to. In this case, I'm doing the eyes, and you can see here what I've done. It's just a high pass filter, the brightness filter, and I combine those two, turn it into a block. And another high pass filter, and you can see it. Okay. Um, so now what I'm going to do is I'll go into my iris sparkle here, and I usually drop this down to about 35. This is your pen tool, and the flow is now at 36, 35. It means it's not going to be so harsh when I'm actually using it. I reduce this. Now what I always do is where the light source is, I go opposite of the light source, and I'll paint it in. Okay, opposite of the light source, paint it in. Okay, and in this case, I mean her whole eyes are just glowing here. So, all right. So first swipe was now 36%. I could actually do a second swipe, which makes it 72%. Okay, so if you want to see what it looks like before, after, you see the difference. I mean, it's a beautiful, huge difference to me. Okay, her eyes don't have any shadowing really inside this area. This one a little bit, so I like to lighten it sometimes. And I'll just go in with my brush, again 36%, and I'll just come in here and I'll swipe it once. And you just saw it just go up just a little bit. So before and after, you can see it. Okay. Um, After that's done, just flatten. Okay, and then I will just go in here. She has no teeth showing, so I don't need that. Okay, and that's pretty much it for that one. Alright, and those are the three things that I usually use on every image. So now we did the skin, we did all that. Now I like to use my Nik collection because that's one of my favorite collections. It's free. Get it because it is amazing. And what I do is I'll go into color effects, and most of my pictures have this signature look, and it's because it's what I like. And again, I don't really care what other people think. Let's see. So first thing I do when I open up color effects is I make sure that it's on dark and light and center, which it is. It's right here. Okay, that's the dark and light and center. I grab the center place point because I want my center point to be right here. I might move it down to the chest. There we go. Alright. Um, in this picture, I put it on the chest because now it's technically doing all this right there. Okay, and then I take my border color and I actually darken it just slightly like that. Okay, and my center, I may bring it down just a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like it. I don't like it too dark, so I'm going to keep it about 5. And my center size, I usually bring it down just a hair. So let's bring that down. Alright, that looks good to me. Alright, I'll hit OK. And now you'll see the before and after. Boop, boop, boop. And Nick is pre-processing. Come on, hurry up. Once it processes, it saves it, then it's going to show it. And boom. Alright, so there's the after. So now before, after. Before, after. Okay? And honestly, I'm really done with this. I don't see anything that has to really take place. Let's see. Alright, since I like that, I also usually come back. I can turn this off. And I also like to look at it and see what it looks like in black and white. Okay, and I'll show you black and white. I do Nick Collection, and then there's Silver FX Pro. Okay, how I use Silver FX Pro is very simple. Okay, this is a black and white converter. I don't look at it as being a preset. It's actually a converter, and it takes different ways of doing black and white. My favorite is either high structure, which you can see it looks really bright. There's also, where you at? Full dynamic. There's also full spectrum. There's another full spectrum, which kind of makes it a little light and airy. There's a fine art. Those are the ones that I usually use the most. Full contrast is just way too much. It's usually good for wet rocks. There is a wet rocks look also. Film noir is not nothing that I like to play with. It just doesn't look right to me. Some people do like the yellowed, but in my case, I'm going with full spectrum. I'm going to go with high structure. And I take the brightness down just slightly, just because I don't like bright stuff. Now control points are great because I can come up here like to this corner and I can increase it to where I want it, and I can darken it. See? And I do the same thing on the other side just because I don't like this door so bright. Just to be a hit. Let me increase this. So there we go. Alright. And there's the black and white. I mean, it's looks fine. I'll probably increase contrast just a slight bit. And decrease structure, increase structure. Kind of like about right there. Alright, now what I like is these color filters because I can go in and check out red, orange, green, blue. Alright, so red looked pretty good. So is neutral gray. I like the neutral gray. Okay, and then another thing that we go into here, I can do toning, so I can actually change the tone. I like the copper. It's a really good image. Selenium's actually really decent with a little bluish toner. But in this one, I think I'm going to keep it neutral. Vignette, I always like having a nice vignette. And we're going to go with lens fall off 1, which I don't even think I need it. Not with that one. Alright, hit OK. See, now I have my colored image that I liked, and I have a black and white image. And I could save both of those in either color or black and white. And once I've done this, I just save it, and I actually like the color better than I like the black and white. I don't know why, but I do. So we're just waiting on this. I'm sorry it takes so long. They're big files. And there we go. Alright, so there's the silver, and there's the color. Silver and the color. Right? I like the color better, so I'm actually going to keep this in color. And I'm going to go File, Export. Export as quick JPEG. Reason why I do that is because it already does it for me. I don't have to guess. Let me go back over here. Alright, final. So 70, hit save. And then what I do is just to make the black and white copy, I just go here, File, Export, click JPEG, and I just add BW at the back of them. That gives me my black and white. Alright, and that is technically it. I do make a Facebook post one, and you guys already saw how I do that. When I go in, I'll just files, export, or sorry, scripts, image processor. Now I just go into the folder that they were in, and let's see, final, open. Alright, and then I'll just do the same with the second folder. Final, open. Okay, I always do everything at 900 on the long side. I always save it as 8 as quality. I run my action, which is my Facebook logo, which if you were watching some of my other videos, I told you I taught you how to create that Facebook logo action. And once that's done, I hit run. And now it's going to take all her pictures, bring them together, and lower them, turn them into the way I like them. Yeah, I have quite a few shots that I had to do, so sorry about that. Took a little bit longer than what it normally does. Alright, so we are at done. Oh, one more. That should have been the last one. Yep, okay. So now we can go in here, take a look, always make sure they're there, and they are. Here's 70. So the picture that we were using, and there it is at 900 by 900 pixels with my logo. And that's what I share on Facebook. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I went through a really quick, down and dirty how this goes, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And have a good day. Keep shooting.